What you see now is the pristine global tourism environment before the effect of climate change was experienced. A beautiful natural environment with clear seas, busy cities, and architectural wonders, functioning transport systems, and affordable travel. Then this. The natural disasters started and continued to become more intense. Flooding, tsunamis, hurricanes. Cyclone Yasi in northern Queensland, Australia, devastated thousands of people, destroying homes. The Japanese earthquake and tsunami left thousands homeless and helpless. And now, in 2025, there's no going back. Welcome to Touring Through Time. I'm Alicia Chick, and today we're going to talk about the severe impact of climate change and limited development and transport on tourism over the past 13 years. We'll now pass over to Jamie in the time zone.
Thanks, Alicia, and welcome everyone to the time zone. This is how we'll start travelling back all the way to 2012. Oh, thanks for the umbrella.
No worries.
What can you tell us about the global issues of 2012?
Well, climate change is gradually becoming more well-known, and the majority of people's mindset have changed to become more sustainable. However, although minds have changed, actions have not. We're also experiencing a dramatic growth in population, hence putting pressure on our Earth's resources, such as fuel. But without exponential growth in technology, I'm sure all these issues would be resolved.
What can you tell me about all this rain?
Well, we've been experiencing more extreme weather conditions, ranging from hurricanes and tsunamis to earthquakes and droughts. Just last year, parts of Australia experienced heavy rain and flooding, causing around $30 billion worth of damage, with 38 dead and 6 missing.
That's devastating. Can you shed some light on the transport situation?
Well, travel has become more accessible due to improvements of transportation. We have bigger planes, faster cars, and an extensive global network of transport systems. Currently, the most dominant form is air travel due to its short travel time and its ability to go to so many destinations. With developing technology, we're expecting hypersonic airlines, space travel, vacuum tube trains by 2025, making traveling even more efficient and more accessible for everyone.
Well, don't get your hopes up too high. I better keep travelling. Let's see how things have progressed in 2017. Oh man, it's so cold here in 2017. What can you tell us about the global trends?
Well, over the past 5 years, we've realised that further action needs to be taken for a more sustainable future. Governments have introduced a higher carbon tax and development of sustainable structure to hopefully reduce carbon footprints. Despite efforts to become more sustainable, the increasing population is adding strain to the planet's resources.
And how does all this affect climate change?
Well, in terms of climate change, the ice in the polar regions are melting at an alarming rate, which is causing a threat to most animal species of the region. As well as this, regions which don't usually snow are experiencing blizzards and snowstorms, which is what we're experiencing here.
And can you enlighten us on the transport?
Well, in terms of transport, travelling has become more dangerous due to the extreme weather patterns, and transport hubs are becoming inaccessible. In addition, supplies of fuel are diminishing at an alarming rate, and predicted forms of transport are still not developed.
All right, well, that's 2017. Time to be getting back to 2025. Time to head back home to 2025. Man, it's good to be back in 2025. What can you tell us about the global trends?
Well, despite all measures for sustainability, resources are still diminishing, which is affecting development in many countries. Population has increased at a slower rate because, well, people realize that making babies is just going to make everything worse. But it's still very, very high, and it's putting a strain on the environment.
Can you elaborate on this? What about climate change?
Well, rising sea levels are flooding many places around the world, and extreme weather patterns and natural disasters, well, that's a common occurrence, and people have slowly...
I see what you mean, hey. And tell us about transport.
Transport. Well, there hasn't been much new transport since 2012, and those popular transport like cruise, airplanes, and buses, well, they're like very super expensive, so they're barely anywhere now, and they're just available for the super wealthy rich people.
All right, well, back to you, Alicia.
Whoa.
Thanks, Jamie. So what does all this mean for tourism in 2025? A development of virtual tourism. This is a safer and cheaper alternative to experience travel, rather than spending a lot of money to travel to a destination where there could be a significant risk of extreme climate conditions. As a result, the hospitality industry is suffering, as people prefer to stay at home rather than to actually travel. A more traditional form of tourism continues through mass overland travel such as trains and buses. This form of tourism is cheaper as it's more efficient. Relief tourism has also developed due to the large number of victims affected by climate change. The masses help their neighbours and participate in recreational activities while providing aid to the less fortunate. And that's all we have time for this evening. Tune in next week to discover Russia. I'm Alicia Chick, and this is Touring Through Time. Good night.